somebody who is definitely worthy of it, got himself a raise. And we had heard some rumors about Kelvin Sampson, head coach of the University of Houston Cougars basketball team. Our beloved Cougs had been flirting with like some teams across the league, Milwaukee specifically, who fired their head coach to open up the offseason, Mike Budenholzer. Well, Sampson signed a revised contract that doesn't give him more years, but it puts him among the highest paid men's college basketball head coaches in the nation. It will average $4.75 million a year, $19 million in total if he fulfills the final 4 years of his contract, with bonuses for each round of 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and National Championship as well. There's also this, which I'm not a fan of. The school formalized a succession plan, so Kellen Sampson also gets a 4-year contract and officially becomes head coach in waiting in writing. I don't like this kind of nepotism. And look, Kellen Sampson might be extremely qualified for the job and might do a great job if he takes over after his dad. His dad left the program in a good spot, and the Big 12, from a basketball perspective, I think is only going to help the Cougars get better and better as a program. Even if the Big 12 is going to lose Texas and Oklahoma, we all know that there's so many damn good college basketball programs in that conference that it should help the Cougars become even more of a mainstay as a program. They're going to be, instead of one of those, mid-major teams, which they have been, they're going to actually be legitimized. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the son of a head coach being the coach in waiting. It would be very similar to Bill Belichick naming his kid, Steve Belichick, the next head coach of the Patriots. And as a Patriots fan, I would hate that. I would. But it had me thinking, who is worthy right now of a raise in Houston sports? So I put together a list. I think a lot of us would say that Yordan Alvarez signed an extremely team-friendly deal with the Houston Astros. But now he's dealing with this oblique injury, and it always seems like there's something going on from an injury perspective with Yordan. Maybe they actually did give him the exact amount of money necessary. Maybe they are paying him well. Maybe this is going to be a regular thing with Yordan Alvarez, where when he's on the field, he's awesome, but there's going to be injuries that keep him out for a while. So I would have said Yordan, like, deserving of a raise right now, especially based off of what he did in the past World Series with the game winner in Game 6. But I don't know if I could quite go there. Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman right now? No. Now, I think we all expect as the year goes on, Bregman to be a little bit better. But maybe not all of us feel that way. And I think if you're Kyle Tucker and you just got in this fight over $2.5 billion with the Astros, have you done the kind of job to this point this year that's going to make the Astros like bend over backwards and give you close to $200 million or something like that? Or even a George Springer kind of deal, like 6 years and 150? I don't know about that right now. Jeremy Pena's been back to earth since that awesome postseason, so I feel like his contract's appropriate. Dameon Pierce was one that I thought about, mainly because running backs have such a short shelf life in the NFL. I kind of feel bad in advance for Dameon Pierce because of the way that he runs. There's a part of me that wants to pay him because he might be out of the league in 5 years with the way that he plays. Should you pay running backs too? That doesn't generally work out so well. And then you got Jalen Petrie, who had a really good rookie season himself. Maybe needs to work on the tackling a little bit. Here's the thing. I think just about all Houston athletes are paid appropriately. And none of them are necessarily worthy of a raise. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Texans aren't good and the Rockets aren't good. But I feel like just about everybody's paid appropriately.
Yeah. Kyle Tucker's the one where it's like he makes $7.5 million. It's like he definitely deserves more than that, because other than Yordan, he's like been the only offense at times for the Astros this year. So even in a down year, it's like, well, he's still the second best hitter on this team. That's like second in the division and still pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, there's something about it with him.
I'm just saying, I'm not even saying he deserves $30 million a year. I'm just saying a raise.
He deserves the $2.5 million.
Like
a small raise.
He could do like at 12. It's still not bad. Like
that makes sense. Who deserves a raise in Houston sports? Waka Flocka Bucks says Lance McCullers is paid appropriately. Twitch.tv/ESPN 97.5. I'm sure he feels that way. I heard this from Jeremy yesterday listening to the Killer Bees on my way home. I guess Lance posted his tribute to Mark Barron from a beach. So, Paul Galaccio, ESPN 97.5
That's
and
right.
92.5.
It was Galveston.
Was it Crystal Beach? I'm sure he went to Crystal Beach.
It was during Memorial Day weekend. He filmed it.
Oh, you didn't go to Topless Jeep Week up in Crystal Beach? Or that other beach that's a little bit south of us, I think closer to Freeport, where like thousands of fish washed ashore. You see that?
I saw
Jesus.
the video.
Is there any good beach in Texas? My God.
I saw that the headline was like hundreds of fish wash up, and then like you see like one shot, and you're like, yeah, that's maybe hundreds of fish, and then they turn to the left, and you're like, that's definitely more than hundreds of
That's
fish,
like-
and then they turn all the way back to the right, and it's like all from like as far as the eye can see, there's
It's
dead fish.
just
on
dead
the-
fish.
and like on the beach all the way like I don't know, maybe like 50 feet out into the water.
Yeah. Oh. 11 o'clock, we're going to have Ross Bolin aboard to talk some Houston sports and television shows. 10:45, we're going to talk about the way that Texas lost in the College World Series. We don't pay attention to the College World Series here unless something like that happens. Jesus, what was that?